What's up, guys? In today's episode, we talk with Brad. Brad is actually a serial entrepreneur that started multiple businesses, one of them being in the medical professional space, such as a chiropractor company. Inside that company, he decided to begin marketing it and thought of creative ways to do so. In that, he actually started Robra, which is a marketing company that helps out chiropractors or other medical professionals. In this episode, he talks all about it, so I'm excited to get into it. Hey, Brad, thanks for joining our podcast today, man.
Thank you, man. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a chiropractor?
I'm actually not. I'm a business owner.
You're a business owner of a
Businessman.
chiropractor. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Talk about that.
Sure. Well, what a lot of people don't realize is you can actually own chiropractor clinics and not be a doctor
There you go.
through some creative management agreements. But I came into this journey when I was looking for opportunities to be outside of corporate America. You know, a lot of people are in corporate America and they get stuck on this whole headspace that I'm stuck working for someone for the rest of their life. And then my short story is one day I woke up and I said, wow, I'm at the top of the wrong mountain. This is not where I wanted to be. So I started to look for things that could inspire me, things that excited me. And I had been going to the chiropractor for over 10 years. And I know, wow, this was something very fulfilling to me. And one of the things I learned when I was younger was Warren Buffett always said, invest in things that you use on a regular basis.
There you go.
And so he drinks Coca-Cola every day. I go, well, I go to the chiropractor all the time. Let me see if this works. Long and short, I looked at the numbers. I go, let's give this a shot. And so then I started it.
That's awesome, man. So what you own a 100% chiropractic franchise in Brandon, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, awesome. But what we ultimately have you here today to talk about is another business that you kind of started from it. It's called Robra.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Gosh, sometimes you never know where the world's going to take you and your opportunities. So this is the genesis of my experience as well as the genesis of owning a chiropractor and understanding what are the gaps that commonly exist in the chiropractor and the health and wellness space. And so in our journey of owning our own chiropractor clinic, the one thing that we observed through and through again, and this is something that's evident in a lot of healthcare scenarios and small businesses, you have great doctors that are amazing at treating patients, but they're great doctors. They're not great salespeople. They're not great marketers. And they're amazing what I call being inside the walls. But when it comes to being outside the walls of their clinic, they don't know what to do. And so my background before I went into chiropractic was sales and marketing. And I cut my teeth on doing that my entire life. And I realized, well, what happens when you plug in people that are sales and marketing experts into a field where we can help support the people that might not be those experts? And that's where the genesis of Robra Solutions happened. And we thought to ourselves, well, let's test this out on our own clinic first because we want to be the guinea pigs. And that's the beauty of having our own.
Yeah.
And so the genesis of Robra was we're going to try this out and do our own sales and marketing for our own clinic. And we started to realize, wow, this works. And so how this grew was through word of mouth. All of a sudden, these other chiropractor clinics saw what we were doing and they go, hey, Rory, hey, Brad, what are you doing? And can we get some of that? And so the genesis of our business actually grew unintentionally from that standpoint. And people started asking us to support them. And we go, I think we need to start a business. And the rest was history.
So when you say you're doing sales and marketing,
Yes.
what does that really
That's a fantastic question. So what a lot of people don't realize is how chiropractors actually get new patients. And this is similar for dental offices. This is similar for most healthcare facilities, even a med spa, etc. Even the stretch places you see around town. Most places get a predominant amount of their new patients or new clients from social media, digital marketing. So this is Facebook leads, Google leads, things along those lines. And what happens is a lot of times these leads come in and then there are people that sit at the front desk, the people that are meant to greet the clients. They're meant to greet the patients. These are the people that are looking at you eye to eye and giving that experience for that human being, the human connection. And what we realized is the people that are doing the human connection, the in-person experience, they don't want to pick up a phone and call a lead that comes in from digital marketing. Because one, it's not the same type of human being. It's a different type of skill. Two, it's distracting to the in-person people in that experience. So
Sure.
when a new patient wants to have a great experience or a new customer, they don't want to see people that are just on the phone the whole time.
Yeah.
So we thought to ourselves, how about we remove that function from the actual place of business itself and let the people that are skilled and equipped handle that? And so that's what we started. So that's the first element of it. The second element of it is health and wellness places also build through community and organic marketing, etc. Obviously, the both of you know that just being in your field that you've been in so long. And so what we also help these places do is we will call local businesses that are nearby, these chiropractor clinics, and we book lunch and learns on their behalf, or what we call wellness sessions. So if you ever are working at your place of employment and you see, oh, we have a free massage during our lunch hour. Well, we're the ones who set that up.
Gotcha.
For that chiropractor clinic. And so what our job is essentially is how do we get these small businesses more out there organically in the local marketplace, number one. And then number two, how do we help them fulfill that sales task that no one in their office wants to do, so they don't have to hire an additional person to do it themselves?
So they're outsourcing, and I don't want. I'll try to use terminology most of us know. Sort of a call center, but
Sort
it's more.
of, yes.
But it's more of a call center that calls leads that automatically came in.
Correct.
Right, and then naturally you're setting up some events for them around their network, their community.
Yes.
So they'd be more well known. That's awesome. How are you helping them with their digital marketing strategy to gain those leads?
That's a great question. So it depends on the client and obviously the customer. So right now, we predominantly focus on helping them handle the leads that they're already getting. So a lot of times they will already have their own ad agency or people that they're accustomed to using that are niched down to the chiropractic space, because there's many ad agencies that focus in different segments.
Sure.
But I will say, full plug for Robra Solutions, we are working on building our own digital ad platform and help partner with people that already are digital ad providers and build partnerships with them. Because ultimately, the more we have visibility through the entire process from the lead creation all the way down to the execution, the better we can be to deliver a great product to our customer.
Brad, you mentioned that you were on the wrong mountaintop, is
Yes.
the way you put it.
Yes.
What was that mountaintop? How did you get into sales and marketing?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. So I have done sales, I think, since I graduated college. It was my first job, so over 20 years ago. And my first job was in the finance space. I was in the mortgage industry. And I did that for a little while. And then I got married like most young men, and I realized I wanted something with more stability. And then I went into the staffing space. And I know none of this sounds like anything I'm talking about right now, but we'll bring this back together. And I spent about 12 years in the staffing space. And what I learned by going through that journey in staffing was essentially I'm helping people find jobs and I'm helping people build careers. And what I started to learn in business by doing my sales venture was that really the world is a people business. It's not a sales business, it's a people business. And the more you can empower the people that are part of organizations and businesses, the more businesses and organizations and culture can grow. And so I started my journey in sales learning the dynamics of how do I manage those people and those elements. And then I ended up realizing when I got to the top of that mountain, which was specifically IT staffing, again, nothing to do with this, I realized that, well, wait, I'm not in charge of my own destiny here. And regardless of how long and how hard that I work, when someone wants to be an entrepreneur, there's that big difference. It's someone's telling you what to do, or you design your own life with your own terms. And so I realized when I was on top of that mountain, which was a very high wage paying mountain, I loved helping people, but I didn't like the terms that were put in front of me of how I could help them.
So that's why you decided to first start a business with chiropractor, because you were doing that. That was your first entrepreneurship venture. Is that true?
I would say wasn't my first, but a many in a very short time horizon.
Okay.
So my first journey into entrepreneurship, which helped me cut my teeth on business, was actually in real estate.
Okay.
And going into real estate, specifically multifamily and apartment building investing and buying. And what I learned by working with many business partners in these industries was there's a lot of similarities and parallels of how people's skills translate. So someone may not realize if they're very good at communicating with people in whatever business or organization they're in, that those skills are actually translatable to everything from real estate to chiropractors all the way to Robra Solutions. And so for me, it was a very quick connection. And when I started the real estate journey, I go, wow, there's all these people that want financial independence and financial freedom. And that was the root of the motivation of why I did it, was I wanted to have my own financial freedom based on my own terms. So when I started in the real estate world, I realized this was great. It builds a great foundation for long-term financial freedom, but it's like adding these little bricks of building a house, but it takes a long time to build those bricks.
Sure.
So I started to think, well, what are some other avenues that connect to the Warren Buffett, type of situation of invest in things in your life? And that's how I ended up in chiropractic.
So as you started Robra, it's not just for chiropractors, right? Obviously, that's a good niche, but
Yes.
you were saying also dentistry, other med spas, right?
Yeah.
So all of those are clients that you can provide help to.
Absolutely. So, full transparency, we want to get very good at doing very specific things. So we have started out to be very focused and intentional around chiropractic because ultimately you want people that can be as niched and as focused as possible to really serve the broader audience. But Robra Solutions does and will be supporting additional ventures in the future. One of the big ventures that we haven't talked about that we're super excited to roll out is functional medicine. And so there's a large push in this country right now, and people can watch the news everywhere around how do we help people get out of pharmaceuticals? How do we help people out of getting in the rat race of every time you go to the doctor and you're getting prescribed all these pills with all these side effects without really fully understanding what we're putting in our body? And what we've started to see is that there's a movement, and we can either choose to be a part of the movement or you can choose to resist the movement. But we want to be a part of it. And what we've realized is the best way to grow the chiropractic community is to tie it together with functional medicine. So we're actually in the process. I'm super excited because this is game changing. We're rolling out virtual functional medicine as a service to all of our chiropractor clinics. So all of our chiropractor clinics that we currently support, they will have the opportunity to leverage our functional remote doctors to service all of their existing patients that are already going to their clinics. And then the other evolution of this is we get to also promote Robra to the masses. So not only will we be serving our local communities in chiropractic, we're going to promote Robra as a virtual functional medicine practice that we can roll out to the entire world. So we're just at the beginning of this. This is a blue ocean out there for functional medicine. I actually heard a data point recently that the Cleveland Clinic, which is a very well-known name, everyone knows that, hospital chain, just opened their own functional medicine division, or they're in the process of doing that. When the big boys are looking into it and investing in it, that something's happening. So we're super excited, but that's how we're going to be supporting people going forward.
When you saw what every good entrepreneur does is they
Yes.
see a problem, right?
Yes.
That exists or a hole, right? And they're like, this is a great way to fill that hole, a great way to provide the solution.
Yes.
When you started your entrepreneur journey and had a chiropractic business and you saw this need, what were you feeling as the business owner of like, this is why someone needs this?
I felt a lot of sadness for a lot of business owners, frankly speaking. And I saw a lot of people struggle. I saw a profession of doctors that want to serve people that don't know how to attract the people they want to serve.
And how are you attracting them?
We're doing all the work they don't want to do.
Which is what exactly, like what attracts them to going to a chiropractor?
So
and stuff like that?
chiropractors, frankly speaking, are not very good at understanding how to promote themselves. They don't know, they don't have the will and the drive a lot of times to say, I want to go to the local farmer's market and do a tabling event and sit out there and or call the farmer's market and book the event. Or they don't want to go call a hair salon next door or call UPS or FedEx or call the businesses nearby where people are on their feet all day where they could really use chiropractic care. They don't have the time in their head or the confidence to pick up the phone and just make that phone call. It might be something that feels very simple and easy to maybe someone like yourself, maybe someone like me, but to someone like them, that's not their passion.
Yeah.
You know, their passion is they want to treat people. They went to school to treat people, not to be salespeople and how to build a business.
Right.
And so I felt so much sadness, and I felt the struggle, and I saw over 100 of my peers, predominantly doctors, they just don't know what to do. And they also don't want to do it. And so how do I remove that obstacle was what I kept asking myself, is how do I remove the problem? I don't need to reinvent the wheel, but how do I remove the problem? And so that's what I kept thinking about. How do I remove that obstacle and provide a solution for them? Because if I can grow small businesses for other people and I can help those chiropractors thrive, what does that mean for our communities? What that means is our communities can thrive. Chiropractors can get back to doing what they want to do, which is really share the message to as many people as possible, and let us do the hard work of helping you share the message, and all they have to do is execute the plan.
How do you usually want them to share the message? Like, so you've already mentioned like the going and doing lunch and learns and stuff like
Yes.
that. How now that you're opening the digital marketing space, how are you wanting them to plug their message into digital marketing?
Oh my gosh. Well, first and foremost, they have to be okay being on camera. I mean, that's the first thing. So if they're not comfortable on a weekly basis or every other weekly basis, recording themselves with their iPhone like this, or as simple as possible, or using a professional, that's the first thing. They have to be comfortable being a little uncomfortable and putting themselves out there. If we think of the world of 2025, people don't buy just based on what they see on television. Do you know what they do? They go to the social media. They want to see who's actually at that business. Who's the doctor? They want to watch some videos. They want to see what that office looks like inside. They want to know what the environment looks like. They're going to go read all the reviews of that place before they even step foot in there. So for a doctor to really get out there, they got to be in front of the camera. That's the first and foremost, and they have to be willing to do it on a regular basis. I call this, in the Robra Solutions world, we're only as good as people are willing to collaborate with us. So we can do as much as we can from an outsourced model, but if they want to build the actual brand itself, well, that's going to take some work, and they have to participate.
What is so you're right, they're on camera, but what is the message that you've seen as usually the best? Is it just simply education about what they're doing? Is it something else to kind of say, hey, this is the people that work here? Is it talking about themselves and some of their own hobbies? Like what is it?
Fantastic question. You know, the first thing we always ask them to do is remember, people buy emotionally. People make decisions in their life more from an emotional standpoint versus a logical standpoint.
Sure.
So the first thing a chiropractor must always talk about on every video is their why. Why are they a chiropractor? Because people want to go be with people that are passionate whatever they're doing. Do you want to go to a primary care doctor who's grouchy when they walk in, doesn't have a smile on their face, who looks like they're just going through the motions? Probably not. And how many doctors' offices have we walked into that are cold, dreary, you know, the big fluorescent lights, and you're just sitting there like a number? People don't enjoy that experience. But if you have a chiropractor who's at the very surface level saying, this is my why, this is why I'm so passionate. Remember, chiropractors are supposed to be a different experience. It's not supposed to be like a doctor's office. So they have to start with the why. And then the second part is, yes, they have to show their office. They have to show their team. They want to invite every prospective patient to see, this is my staff. This is what my office looks like. This is what you'll experience on your first appointment. And they'll walk through the entire office. They'll go door by door. This is our massage room. This is where we do stretches. This is where you'll have your x-ray. This is our front desk. This is our beverage station. This is where you get snacks.
It's so simple.
Yes, it's so simple, but people want to know. They want to know that it could be their future home.
And I would also probably say that, you make the video probably sometime in March. You're probably making that exact same video maybe in July.
Yes.
Because having a repetitive nature to the content is good for the algorithm as well, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And also, don't be afraid to be creative and be specific to the community and the patients and the people you see as well. You promote your patients and do testimonials on your social media. You also, our Brandon Clinic, as an example, is a very heavy Latino community. So we emphasize tremendously a lot of the things that are very common that are experienced in the Latino community, as well as, certain holidays or events or things that are just very cultural specific, because we want people, our patients, to feel at home, like this is an inclusive place.
What kind of costs would Robra be for this kind of situation?
Oh my gosh. This is a great question. So the Robra experience, I always say, it's going to be cheaper than them hiring their own full-time employee. So if someone did this themselves right now, they would have to hire someone working at their front desk, whatever title they want to call them. It doesn't really matter. That employee will cost them a minimum of $5,000 a month. On top of that, if you did this yourself, you will have to manage that employee. You will have to manage your own leads, meaning the doctor will get a lead on a Saturday and say, oh, crud, my employee, I don't know if they're working or not. Then you have to text your employee and say, can you call this lead? By the way, if you don't call a lead within 5 minutes, the likelihood of that lead wanting to be a new patient for you is very low. So the response rate on a lead is top priority. So imagine someone sitting at the front desk of a clinic who's having a face-to-face conversation like you and I right now, and all of a sudden a lead pops in on their computer and they have to panic in their head and say, oh, I have to call this lead. I have a person in front of me. I have to end this conversation, which might hurt the quality of that patient experience, but I have to call this lead because we may lose this patient. Like, that's what happens if you don't have Robra. If you do have Robra, we're cheaper than the $5,000. On top of that, you get 24/7 coverage. We'll call on the weekends. We call on the evenings. We know when people are home from work. People are home from work from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We also know when they have their lunch breaks. We also know that when they'll take calls in the morning. Are your front desks working until 7 p.m. at night? Are they working on Saturdays and Sundays? No, they're not. We are. And that's the beauty of it. So we're cheaper than them having a full-time employee, less than $5,000, and we're going to give you more coverage and more effectiveness because we're niched and this is our specific skill.
You built a really cool thing. And I think a lot of medical professionals could use this advice of just like, hey, I have other solutions to help me run a business.
Yes.
So that I can work on, because the difference between an entrepreneur and a medical professional often is an entrepreneur doesn't work in the business. They work on the business.
Yes.
A medical professional sort of has to work in the business.
Correct.
By nature. And so the fact that they have to then work on the business is a little bit just, hey, that's not how it's supposed to be.
Yep.
So what you're doing is a really cool thing.
Oh, thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
I believe a lot of medical professionals, if they're listening to this podcast, should be contacting you. How can they contact Robra?
That's a great question. Well, first and foremost, you can go to our website. Full disclosure, we're redoing our website. It probably sucks right now. But
Maybe not by the time we post this, right?
That's true. That's actually a good point. We're going to have a very interactive website coming around the corner soon, but you can reach out on our website. If you're a medical professional, submit a request. I'm actually the one who gets a lot of those requests, as well as our people that handle our social media. And then we'll go ahead and reach out to you the same day. We'll have an introductory call. We'll specifically vet your situation because remember, every medical professional has a very unique circumstance and very specific goals. So we'll vet the situation, make sure we can obviously deliver a quality product, and then we launch.
What's your website address?
It's www.robrasolutions.com. ROBRA solutions.com.
Awesome.
Yes.
Hey, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank
Thanks
you.
for coming. A little tap of the water. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.